Hello everyone! Finally, it's time to learn about effects. So this lesson is devoted to learning different effects and interesting ways of stylizing your works. We also will talk about possibilities given by adjustment layer and pre-compose. So what is stylization and what we need it for? The best way to explain it is to show you. This is how your work looks without any stylization. Graphics is clear, readable, but the work have a pretty usual flat look, and this is boring. What if we apply a couple effects to it? It will have a much better look. Or another example, simple flat illustration. And this is how it looks with a little noisy and rattling effects. Even it has a look of pencil or chalk drawing, of course that wasn't done manually. It is reached within different effects combinations, moreover standard. There are two main panels for working with effects in After Effects. The first one is Effects and Presets. It is a catalog of all effects. As you can see, they are sorted by groups. And here's the search field as well. Type the name of needed effect and just drag it on your layer. You can drag it both on a timeline or viewport. And the second panel is Effect Controls. You will set up and animate your effects here if needed. If you already know in which section needed effect is placed, right-click on empty area of Effect Controls panel and choose the one from this menu. But the coolest thing is Effects Console. This plugin created by Video Copilot team will save your time. Link for downloading is in description to this video. It allows you to apply effects and presets in a really fast way. You just need to select a layer, press Ctrl Space and start typing the effect's name. Using arrows, select the one and hit Enter to apply it to selected layer. As Andrew Kramer says, you can save milliseconds which you can spend with your family using this plugin. Please watch the full overview, because quick effect applying it is not the only possibility of Effects Console. Now we are fully armored and it's time to learn what things in After Effects we can use to create cool image stylization. Let's start from the easiest, things which moved from Photoshop to After Effects. It is blending modes. They work in the same way like in Photoshop. They are grouped by work principle, so let's check how they can help us with image stylization. Just take our jumping ball animation, import any texture, drag it to the composition. In this drop-down, select Screen or any other blending mode. The simplest stylization is ready. Parent it to the ball to make the texture move with it. The next thing is layer styles. They work absolutely in the same way with Photoshop styles, but pattern overlay and texture are not supported. Moreover, these styles can be imported directly from Photoshop. For example, you did something like this inside Photoshop and you want to animate it inside After Effects. And it is a piece of a cake. Double-click on Project panel, select Source File and select Import as Composition. Open the composition, open the layer, and all layer styles are saved, and now they are waiting for animation. Now let's get back to effects and find out which of them moved from Photoshop. A lot of them. Curves and levels, hue saturation and Gaussian blur, even liquify, which we used a long time ago to make our classmates' photos cooler. So if you have such experience of work inside Photoshop or Illustrator, you can boldly use it in After Effects. And remember, almost all parameters now can be animated. Let's have a look at most frequently used effects as well. The simplest one is Fill. You can use it to fill the layer with solid color. You can draw a mask on a layer and control the blurriness of fill edges. If we are talking about coloring the layers, you have to know about Gradient Ramp as well, which allows to create gradient fill. Everything is also pretty simple. Choose two colors and start and end points. You can also set the type of gradient, linear or radial. Here is the Swap Colors button. It is usually forgotten, and those motion designers sometimes suffer a little. The next effect is Transform. It will help you in cases when basic transformations of layer is not enough, or you need to transform the objects relatively to two different anchor points. The next effect calls Set Mate. It's familiar to Alpha Mate or Luma Mate modes, which we use to create clipping masks from layer. This effect works in the same way and not only with the layer above current, but with any selected in its settings. Sometimes this effect works not correctly with parenting. And don't forget about Fast Blur, another blurriness effect. Result we can get using it differs from one we can get within Gaussian blur, but render is faster. Now, after reviewing the larger part of things we need for stylizing of our animation, let's find out what is pre-compose. The first thought is that it is a group analog from Photoshop, but that's not correct. When you make layer pre-compose, a separate composition with the same size as main is created for them and all selected layers are moved to it. So after that you get a separate layer which has all properties of video layer, but if you double click on it, you will get inside the pre-compose where all your layers can be edited separately. The changes apply at once, you can see that by going to the main composition. And you probably noticed these two radio buttons in pre-compose window. These are its modes. If the first is selected, pre-compose will have all the transform properties, masks and effects from pre-composed layer. It will cut it from layer and paste it to pre-composed attributes. But it's important to know that it will work in case you pre-compose single layer. The second option moves all layers and their attributes inside new composition, and if this option is checked, the pre-compose duration will be automatically adjusted to the time span of the selected layers. Like the video layer, pre-compose also has a cool feature – time remapping. Press Ctrl-Alt-T with pre-compose selected and two linear keyframes will be created. Each linear change of our time. So if we put these keyframes closer, the animation will be played faster, if further, slower. And if custom easing is set up, it will be played with a speed determined by speed graph. But inside pre-compose, everything is like it was before. And the last thing to talk about before the practice is the adjustment layer. It is an empty transparent layer, but all effects applied to it will affect all layers below it. And by pressing this button, you can make the adjustment layer from any type of layer. It is not always possible to match the style of reference or storyboard, so further in video we will set the effects up by side. There is no magic values which will make your animation cool, so please try to experiment by yourself as well. This is what we're gonna do now. Project is attached to the lesson. A lot of designers has a question about how to create these kind of noisy shadows and glares. Let's find out how to create them inside After Effects. You can achieve the similar result with two approaches, using layer styles or a combination of effects. So let's have a look at creating this effect using layer styles on jumping ball animation example. Select the ball layer, right-click, layer styles and select inner shadow. Open its settings, and of course the parameter noise is responsible for creating noise. Increase its value. Now let's place the shadow to the right part of the ball by adjusting angle value. Cool. Now let's change the color of shadow and its blending mode, so that we get this glare. We can also achieve similar result by using inner glue. It also has a noise parameter, but in this case the effect will be on all sides of shape. I will leave effect received within inner shadow. Now let's create noisy shadow with the help of effects. For that, draw such shape with pen tool. Place the layer above ball and apply fast blur effect to it. Add some noise with scatter effect. Increase its value. Change the blending mode to color burn. And now the only thing left is to make the shadow be just inside the ball. Let's apply Set Mate effect to it. In this drop-down, select the ball layer, so that the current layer is clipped by alpha channel of the ball. And surely, don't forget to parent this layer to the ball to make the texture move with it. Nice. If your Set Mate doesn't work properly, this clipping mask can be done with a simple Alpha Mate mode. Duplicate ball layer, place it above the shadow, select Shadow, and in this drop-down set up the Alpha Mate. Now let's review more advanced technique of creating this effect, where noise will be animated. Let's draw an ellipse. Change its fill type to radial gradient and set it up this way. Now let's add some noise. For that, apply Noise HLS effect and increase its lightness parameter. Good. But now noise is too detailed and the color transition is really smooth. Let's change it and add the effect called posterized. With its help we will reduce the illustration color amount, for example to 3. Now let's paint the sphere in colors and add effect called tree tone. Using this effect we will set the colors for highlights, midtones and shadows. I'll leave these colors because I like it. Let's animate noise. For that, click with Holded Alt on clocks near noise phase parameter of Noise HLS effect. Expression field is open. Type time multiplied by 2500 so that the value of this parameter will be updated on each frame and will equal time multiplied by 2500. But now the noise is too frequent. Let's make a change less frequently, not with each frame. For that, add already known effect, posterize time, and set the value to 10 to make it play with frame rate of 10. Now it's not so frequent and it looks nice. Sometimes it is also needed to make edges of shape have this noisy rattling. For that, add scatter effect. And to make it animated, just check Randomize every frame box. And to reduce the frequency of rattling, place this effect above posterized time. Looks cool. Now let's create an animated texture. We will show you one of the easiest ways to create animation of texture using image. Import prepared JPEG and place it in U composition. It's better to take high-resolution texture. Let's animate it by changing its transformation properties with toggle hall keyframes. I will change the value each 5 frames. And loop the animation. Place the animated texture composition to the main composition. And change its blending mode. To repaint the texture, we will use Tint Effect, which allows to do that in a really quick way. It repaints the image in specified shades. Let's change the white color to this kind of brown. Good, that's what we need. So, as you can see, After Effects gives a big set of tools for image stylization. You have to experiment a lot with effects to understand how they work. That's what you will be doing while working on your homework. So your task is to create an image stylization of your second homework, where we work training bounces. And you may use the following effects. And that's all for today. Good luck guys and see you on the next lesson!